Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first cast of NRTS. NRTS 1v1s, and, well, yeah, just NRTS. This is the first 1v1 game that I played in an event called Saturday Smackdown. It's a weekly event that we are holding on our NRTS community Discord. It's a pretty fun experience, just gathering together with some random people from the server, seeing how the game plays when you're not at the whims of your random teammates, or joining a game 15 minutes late, or, you know, in a more controlled environment where there can be some amount of competition. Yeah, just being able to test out different strategies and pitting them head to head against other players. That was fun. We ended up playing a total of 7 games. I participated in 3 of those. So you'll see myself, LeafyPotatoStyle, playing the yellow player on the Grasslands, and you'll see sooooooo playing red. Hadn't played him at all before, hadn't played with him, didn't know how he was going to play, which was a bit of an interesting experience trying to figure that all out. I am going to try to do these casts daily, if I can, which shouldn't be too big of a problem, because some of these matches didn't last for too terribly long, but just picking up the mic, cast a game from a Saturday Smackdown every day, maybe 2 games a day, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm going to be doing these as live takes, so expect some colorful imperfection. I did already attempt 1 take of this already, and that failed miserably when the music that I was playing in the background while I was trying to cast started blaring through my PC instead of through my headphones, because my headphones decided that being connected to the PC was overrated or something. So that was great. But I'm here now, doing a fresh cast without music blaring through. Here's hoping that this ends up a little more successful. So you'll see in the beginning of the game, I've opted to go for Militia after upgrading CC. The upgrading CC in the early game is mostly just a way to spend $50 that you wouldn't be spending in any other way except either on Militia or on housing later. But by the time that your workers are free enough to be able to build housing instead of building farms, you know, the upgrade to the CC will have mostly paid for itself, and then afterwards, you know, it's just an extra 15 eco that you can guarantee yourself for the rest of the game if you just put 50 of your $120 down up front. It's really just a tool to be able to spend some money in the early game and also make Militia. I've put on some decent pressure against red. You see I've built a tower at this choke here. That's mainly just to prevent him from building 1 Militia and walking right on by. He's got a whole bunch of towers in his own little spot, towers and turrets, but he spent so much already on static. He really, I'm pretty happy with his position. He's pretty much stuck. I've got an army. If he decides that he wants to move with his workers, I can pretty much just move with my Militia. He's not taking any of these farms anytime soon. You know, I'm happy with this. At any rate, yeah, this game at this moment, it's basically a victory for me, or at least that's my perspective. Z-flash there just to check, make sure that red's not doing any sort of shenanigans. I'm not gonna lose in some stupid way. I completely didn't realize that he was making a port. I'll figure it out later, and you know, I'm in a decent enough position now that I can just reactively make an air pad and go chase whatever he's got on the water, or otherwise just make tanks and crush right through them. So yeah, at this point, at this point in the game, he's cornered. He tried expanding a little bit towards orange at some point. Oh, I completely didn't realize that orange joined in, made a worker, made some farms, and then sold them. Oh well. CC's still standing. Oh yeah, you'll see some players popping in and out of this server. So how this ended up working is I created a private server, just created an event on a Discord server, gave people the time to show up, gave them a link to the private server, joined in, and it was pretty much, hey, who wants to play next round? Who wants to play me? Who wants to play winner? You know, that kind of stuff. And then the other players were allowed to spectate so long as they didn't go and build anything and didn't sell their CC. The reason for not selling CC was just if we only had one extra player in the server selling CC, then that could give 4 farms to one of the competitors for free. Or if we had one guy in the server hopping around selling the different CCs, then there's like a time difference between all that. And it's an easier, simpler solution to have nobody sell anything than to have everyone try to sell at the same time, or have one guy like go around selling and only let you take the farms after he's done doing that. You know, it's a simpler, more elegant solution to just say don't sell your CC, and it worked out pretty well. I don't think we had a single issue with somebody not getting the idea. So you'll notice here I've got some recons. I've got plenty of militia, 4 recons and 12 militia, with 2 more on the way. That's more than enough to just pretty much charge straight at his CC. I mean, yeah, I've got a tower to contest right now. You'll see that I built a farm, built a generator. I'm focused on macro right now. He's up building a tower. I'm gonna go try to deal with that. Buildings take triple damage if they're not fully built, which is really nice. You'll see I pulled back here. I don't know why I didn't just go for the kill. I could have totally killed him right there. I might have just seen that I had 3 recons instead of 4. I might have seen that or thought that I didn't have the militia to do it, but you can very much kill a militia with some babysitting. Or you can kill a CC with militia using some babysitting, but now he's building a tower and 2 turrets, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to contest that. So I retreat for a little bit, just continue making vehicles. He really doesn't have an army. I do. I've got the majority of the map. I'm housing up. I built an air pad because I noticed the port finally. And I'm like, okay, he's got a navy. I'm not about to just go and make naval units right now, although I could and get some extra fishing eco. It's probably a more elegant solution if I want the islands on the corner of the map to just make a transport copter and send my workers over there. So that's why I built an air pad instead. Plus the choppers can help fight on land. So I'm not 100% committed to fighting on the water or fighting on land. I can do both. So I've got a heli queued up. It's going to go out and harass the island that I've noticed he's taken. Yeah, just slowly taking the rest of the map that I can, building up forces. That's going to be how this is for now. It's a bit of a stalemate, sending the first heli over to go and harass his farms. Overall, this game, I'd say it wasn't too terribly clean from my end. There was a lot of downtime and just things that I could have been doing that I didn't. There's a farm that's like basically right below where my character is that I just hadn't taken for the longest time. And I'd noticed that after making the 3rd worker and bringing it over and taking the farm, but like that's like 8 eco that I didn't have for something like 3-4 minutes. You know, kind of getting tunnel visioned. Granted, this was my first 1v1 and the first game that I played of the day, so you know, it's a bit sloppy, but at this point I'm in a commanding position. Red hasn't really been doing anything. I've noticed you know, he's got towers, he's got turrets, he's not building army. I'm good. I think right now I noticed that he's got an air pad and he made a heli. So I'm gonna, maybe not right now. Gonna make militia. Gonna group my units up. Actually keep them in a position where they are a threat. You'll see I'm floating a whole bunch of money. I think right here, the better strat. And I think I also queued a worker. I could be wrong. That down there might not be a worker, that could be a militia. Can't remember exactly how this game ended up playing out. I'm getting defense research right now because I noticed the heli. I believe I noticed the heli anyways. Yeah, I've queued up some helicopters of my own. I've got recons going. Just macro. Getting a research facility so I can get defense research and thus missile turrets. The threat that I perceived here is, okay, if Red's got helis, he can just wait till he's got a ball of them, go around and attack my farms where, like, okay, I could get helis and match that, right? That's no problem. But, you know, all he has to do, since he doesn't have much to do, is go around and mess with my farms. You know, so he can split all his helis off into a whole bunch of different directions, and that would suck. And I'd have to go chase them down individually and spend all of my micro trying to do that instead of doing anything else. Overall, I'm still in a completely crushing position, but the only way that he can really annoy the crap out of me right now is if I don't have Static Splash. So I'm remedying that by getting Static Splash. Also, choking off that defense research just a little bit more in the event that he decided that he wanted to send his helis over to it. Not that I don't think he would have killed it. Maybe there's a way that he could have. I've got some helis out now. I could fly him over and contest if he moved helis out. And I've also got an army. I haven't noticed at this point that he's been putting up turrets on his CC. Or at least I don't think that I have. If he had not done that, I could have flown over with helis and killed him. I think it's after I killed a port that I figured it out. And I'm like, oh, great. This is wonderful. But yeah, I've gone and killed blue and purple, got their farms. My eco is completely ahead of his. He hasn't really housed it at all. Granted, I haven't housed almost at all either. Though in 1v1, I don't think it matters nearly as much housing for eco, since you have so many more farms on the map that you can take, since you know, there aren't other players to be doing that. Yeah, I think I'm upgrading the vehicle depot right now. I can't remember when I did that, but yeah, I've made a second vehicle depot so I can upgrade the first and still be able to produce recons. Though I don't know that I think at the moment, I even thought to myself, oh, I've got an air pad, I'm probably going to be making choppers while it's upgrading. But yeah, this game goes on for a little bit. That's mostly on me. I could have hella ended this game at the 8-minute mark or so. After I pushed and killed his unbuilt tower. I could have continued on and killed the CC, but I didn't. Now I'm just gonna clear up some of these towers to just push his static back, take some farms. That's really what this is. I've got enough units. I've got an army. Let's do something with it. I've upgraded my vehicle depot, so I've got artillery unlocked. Heavy tanks would be nice to deal with a ground army, but he doesn't have a ground army. So light tanks are like the highest tech tanks that I really need. So like artillery medic is the strat that I'm thinking of, where I can engage a tower one at a time since the artillery's range and the tower's range are the same. I'm finally going around and spending some of this money I've been floating for the past freaking forever. And I think shortly after I take one of these farms, I end up making a hospital. Which is good because I've taken some damage. Move my units in to go and kill Orange's base. Take the farm, make a tower down in that middle choke point, kill Orange's base. I forget when I make a generator, but I'm like maxed on power right now. Okay, yeah, so I get the guy that's not doing anything to make the generator. The guy that's building the tower is going to build the tower. Move my army out of the way. Realize that I already have an upgraded vehicle depot. I was about to upgrade the one that I had. Queue a farm. Not the cleanest macro by any means, but gets the job done. And I'm mindful to try to spend the money that I've got. Though once you have like 500 eco, it's pretty dang hard to stay under 100 floating. Which is why you see me here. I've been upgrading my farms, and I should have been a little more on top of that. It's all an attempt to try to spend my money. Now Red moves out with his 2 helis. I don't know why he didn't make more than that. So I moved to go counter it. I don't bother selling farms unless they've got a significant amount more than just 2 helis. Mainly because if I go and sell a farm, then the helis can move on to the next thing, and they can just keep moving, and they've like done a whole bunch of damage unnecessarily, right? Versus if my farm can stay up, it's gonna keep generating me 8 eco a minute. If I sell the farm, then I get some money back immediately, but then I gotta rebuild the farm to get the 8 eco back, right? So ultimately, it doesn't make that much sense. Building a generator here, I think because I've got the artillery out, I want to make a hospital at some point, and I realize I don't have power. Move out with my units. Gonna bring this guy down near Orange's base, forward to Red's, build a tower in a forward position. I believe I've also built a missile turret right next to it. It's been a minute. I say that, I've actually watched this freaking cast forever. Oh yeah, the missile turret gets obliterated, I forgot about that. Yeah, I built it in range of his towers. The idea was to just make it so that any sort of move outs with helis would be mostly untenable. In hindsight, the worker that I have over here that I just put a house next to probably should have gone back to the base at some point to build a missile turret, just so that in the event that Red went and grabbed like 8 helis, that he couldn't just go kill my base. Now, that would assume that I have lost my choppers, because they're very much still in the game. But I digress. Just, you know, thinking about how could I do this so that there's less of a chance of me throwing. I've already got the hospital up now, so that's pretty good. He's making a second air pad, which honestly, good for him. I think that's all I can say right now. Good for him. He's upgrading his first air pad, which I didn't notice. I was about to say making fighters might actually swing the game in his favor right now if I don't go and upgrade my helis in turn, because fighters trade incredibly well against helis. They don't outrun them, but they do outgun them. And in Red's position, that's all he really needs. That would open him up the opportunity to go and go off to the islands, right? Just having like a couple fighters over an island position that you can use to defend against a squad of helis going out to destroy your island holdings. Can be a pretty cost-efficient way to get eco in a situation like this. I guess in his position, the only thing that I would think is, okay, how do I get eco, right? Because, like, I don't have eco, and in a long game, I'm losing this. And I've put myself in a position where it's going to take him a while to kill me, but that's not going to at all put me any closer to winning. You know, at this point, Red's got to hope that I just charge into his towers and turrets because I'm impatient. Unfortunately for him, I actually know a strategy to counter tower spam, and If anyone on the balance team can hear this, please, for the love of God, increase the range of the artillery again to where it would outrange a tower. Currently, it does not. And so what you have to do is get an artillery within range of a tower and have medics with the artillery so that as it takes tower shots, it is healing it off. Just like that. Now, granted, it could have been just in range of the farm and hit the tower with splash at a time, but it doesn't make any difference. I am getting healed slightly faster than the average damage the tower can do to me. Which means, since the artillery and the tower have the same range, you can engage towers one at a time with artillery, versus with your regular units, you've got to engage the towers, all of them at a time. So, getting shot by one tower hurts a lot less than getting shot by 7 or 12 or however many towers there happen to be. Now, of course, I end up horribly microing this. I end up losing a medic in this. I don't end up losing anything else, I don't think. Oh, 2 medics. That sucks. Because I was just too close with my arty medic. I almost lose it in artillery to that, which would have been really embarrassing. I don't think 7 medics is enough to out-heal an upgraded tower's damage over time. It's close, so you can keep a full health artillery in it. And by the time that you destroy the tower, you can just like wait for an extra like 2 seconds and you'll be at full HP. I'm queuing up more medics just to make my job a little easier here. Sending my army into a position where I can actually maybe use it. I believe I end up moving that army over to kill Green's base, but I don't end up taking Green's base before the game ends. Oh no, I'm moving it over to get healed because it was damaged. Alright, so now I've got 2 artillery in the fight and I've got some medics. Making the second artillery, all it really does is speed up the rate at which you can destroy the towers, because artillery, they really should do more building damage, but they don't. Thankfully, if you've got all the medics that you need to... If you've got all the medics you need to keep an artillery in a fight against a tower, then, you know, you can just pretty much freely add artilleries, and that really doesn't change the math too much. You can squeeze artilleries together closer than you can squeeze towers together, so you can still get, like, 3 artillery shooting at exactly 1 tower, and only having 1 tower shoot back. Which is really, really, really nice. So, I don't know if this is the first time that Explode ended up seeing Artillery Medic actually put in work and counter towers, but it is sort of my secret technique for public lobbies against people who think that towers are impenetrable defenses that you have to, like, nuke. Arty Medic, even with 3 artillery and 10 medic, is cheaper than getting a nuke silo and a nuke. You know, and you don't have the risk of them going in and sneak attacking the nuke silo before it's done doing its thing and making a nuke that you can launch. You know, that nuke silo is a building that they can kill for a while. And if they kill it, you're down $3,000 at best. Or, you know, if you sell it preemptively, it's like, oh great, I got a consolation prize of some of the cost of the nuke silo. I still lost thousands. That could have been an army, you know. So Arty Medic allows you to deal with towers in a cost-efficient-er manner. Towers are still ridiculous for the cost. They're only $25 a pop. But Arty Medic gives you a tool that you can use to deal with them. So I'm employing that. I could have already taken green space and gone and gotten the farms. I just haven't. I could have thrown down a generator while doing all of this. I just haven't. Mostly because it's not really necessary at this point. I've got a pretty crushing advantage. This amount of helis can kill a CC by itself. This amount of artillery with this amount of medics can clear up the rest of his static defense and just slowly push towards his CC. I really only need the choppers here to keep him from walking a chopper over these guys and killing them all. Granted, I could also just place some static defense around and that would also do the job pretty well. But yeah, this is really GG. Like, I'm at his door. I've cleared out the rest of the map. You know, I own the map. He's got 3 artillery at his doorstep with medics to keep them alive. I've got helis over my artillery, so he can't just go and kill them. His defenses are crumbling. And yeah, this is This is victory. Cece's already taking splash damage because the turrets are placed too close. And now I just fly in because it's like, okay, well, I'm... The game... What are those turrets going to do to me, really? So yeah, that's my first 1v1 game. I had a victory over So. That was very, very fun. I personally love the experience, and I hope y'all enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble about NRTS 1v1 for the past 25 minutes, and I hope you have a wonderful day.